pictures went viral of this mako shark just absolutely decimated from the head down.
Naturalists around the world want to know what's going on off the coast of Ireland.
The ocean is incredibly vast, so vast that we've mapped less than 10% of it with modern sonar technology. Just when we think we've seen it all, something even bigger or more terrifying comes along. From a new predator hunting great white sharks to record-breaking fish catches, here are 20 of the most unbelievable fish ever caught. Number 20. 280-pound catfish. If you needed another reason to stay out of unknown bodies of water, the catch of a 280-pound catfish would be it. Sportech-sponsored angler Dino Ferrari was fishing in his top-secret fishing location along Italy's Po River when something significant hooked onto his light tackle spinning reel. After 40 minutes of reeling the big monster to shore, he landed an absolutely enormous catfish tipping the scales at 280 pounds. It was so large that even though he took photos with the beast before returning it to the water, people wondered whether it was a hoax. There surely couldn't be fish this large swimming in bodies of water near where we live, could there? There is no way to confirm its existence since Dino is a catch-and-release angler, but the weight is actually in line with what you'd expect from a Wells catfish. They are larger versions of American catfish and have been known to weigh as much as 300 pounds. The largest recorded catch in Italy is 298 pounds, so Dino's catch wasn't even the largest. If you spend enough time around the Po River and other rivers, you might see one for yourself. Sometimes, they've been seen incredibly close to the shoreline, trying to feast on small wildlife like pigeons innocently looking for snacks on the edge of the water. Number 19. 1,430-pound black marlin. Sport fisherman Rob Crane and his crew were fishing off Queensland, Australia, when they nabbed a huge 1,430-pound black marlin on their line. The avid catch-and-release fishermen intended to catch the fish, tag it for research, and release it. Even though fish survival rates exceed 90% when they are caught and released back into the water, this massive marlin sadly was in the minority. It died once it was released. Witnessing it die, the fishermen decided to bring it ashore to see if it was a world record breaker. According to Rob, the black marlin was at least 15 years old and was the largest of its kind caught in Australia in at least 3 decades. However, the world record stands at 707 kilograms, or about 1,558 pounds. When photos of the large fish were shared on the internet, the fishermen received a lot of criticism over the fish's death. One person commented, saying, "Good work, heroes. Another animal killed for a photo op. Well done." Marine biologist Sam Williams noted that the survival rate for large fish after being released is much higher than for smaller fish. He also mentioned there have been at least 65,000 fish tagged and released in Australian waters. Number 18. 757-pound swordfish. According to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the record for the largest swordfish was 672 pounds, until Captain Nick Stanczyk caught an absolutely massive swordfish weighing 757 pounds in 2019. Nick had been taking clients on his charter boat off the coast of Islamorada, Florida, to an area known to have plenty of swordfish. They might have expected to catch a few small fish to satisfy their hunger, but they didn't expect to break any records. That's exactly what they did. 10 minutes after seeing the bait, Nick noticed a bite and saw an electric blue swordfish. At first glance, he anticipated it would weigh around 400 pounds. After a crazy 40 minutes of trying to bring it in, over a period of several hours, Nick and his clients worked hard to reel in the swordfish. It would dive deep into the water before coming back to the surface, but it never broke off the line. Eventually, after 5 hours, they got a decent look at the swordfish and realized it would be at least 600 pounds. The swordfish, clearly angry about its predicament, started charging the boat. However, Nick and his clients remained determined. After 8 hours of effort, they were able to harpoon the swordfish and use a pulley to bring it aboard. It had been such an intense mission that they ended up floating about 20 miles from where they started. 7 people were needed to get it off the boat, but it was worth it. They realized it had broken the local record and Nick's personal best at 757.8 pounds. Number 17. 14-foot-long hammerhead shark. Ray loves going fishing whenever he has the opportunity. One weekend in 2018, he and some friends headed out to the water in Corpus Christi, Texas, to fish. When they got a bite and started reeling in whatever was on the other end, they never imagined they would be catching a 14-foot-long hammerhead shark weighing a little over 1,000 pounds. Ray said he had always dreamed of catching one, so it was a very special day. However, Ray didn't get the outcome he had hoped for. While dragging the shark back to the water to release it, they watched in sadness as the shark was beaten by the waves for nearly an hour before sadly passing away. Ray said that wasn't their goal. As fishermen, they are conservation-minded, land-based anglers who often catch fish to tag and release them for research. They didn't get the outcome they wanted, but they decided to save the meat from the shark and donate it. Number 16. 10.5-foot-long sturgeon. White sturgeon are already known as the largest fish in North America, so it's not uncommon to land some quite big ones. However, it isn't all that common to see any measuring at least 10.5 feet long. Canadian fisherman Yves Bisson was fishing in British Columbia when he managed to catch an absolutely massive 10.5-foot-long sturgeon weighing around 500 to 600 pounds. Yves, a self-proclaimed sturgeon guide, said it was one of the largest he had ever seen. Alongside being monstrous in size, experts believe the fish was at least 100 years old. To be honest, a young sturgeon probably looks quite similar to an older one since they haven't evolved much in the millions of years they've existed. Fossils of this primitive fish date back to the Triassic period, around 245 to 208 million years ago. After Yves caught the fish, he measured it and tagged it with an RFID chip. It was then released into the water, where it could hopefully live out the rest of its days in peace. Now it's time for today's topic. Off the coast of Australia, marine biologists recently stumbled upon something that has left the scientific community puzzled and terrified. While studying a massive 20-foot-long great white shark that had been tagged for research, they noticed an enormous and unsettling bite mark covering a large section of the shark's body. The bite mark was over 4 feet wide, with deep impressions that suggest an unimaginable force. Experts believe that whatever caused the damage had to be significantly larger and more powerful than the great white itself, raising questions about what could be lurking in the depths. One biologist stated, "We've known great whites to be apex predators, but this bite mark challenges everything we thought we understood. It suggests the presence of a creature capable of taking down even these ocean giants." Speculations have run wild since the discovery. Could this be evidence of a long-thought extinct megalodon still roaming the oceans? Or is it a new, undiscovered predator with terrifying capabilities? Some experts suggest it could even be a monstrous orca, given their reputation for targeting great whites. For now, no definitive answers have surfaced, but the discovery has prompted further investigation. One thing is clear: the oceans are far more mysterious and dangerous than we ever imagined. The question remains, what is hunting the hunters? Number 15. 560-pound porbeagle shark. Porbeagles are a common sight in the UK. These mackerel sharks live in the cold and temperate waters around the southern hemisphere and North Atlantic. Plenty of large specimens have been caught around Devon and Cornwall, including one weighing 238 pounds and another at 392 pounds. However, they were nowhere near as large as the 500-pound beast measuring more than 8 feet long, caught by Ross Needs and Dan Hawkins off the coast of Cornwall. It was a record-breaking day for the crew, with cheers erupting each time the shark's dorsal fin broke the surface during the intense battle. The fight left everyone on board exhausted, with Ross describing it as a test of endurance and strength, like no other fishing experience he'd ever had. The shark made several powerful runs, bending the rod almost to its breaking point and forcing the anglers to carefully adjust their tactics to avoid losing it. While they won't say exactly where they caught it, they had been on a charter trip run by Dan through Real Deal Charters, and it took them hours to reel in the porbeagle. Dan said it was a huge fish, the largest they'd had, and it took at least 2 hours to reel it in. Peter Stern also caught a smaller, 250-pound porbeagle on the same boat that same week. Porbeagles are becoming quite a popular fish to catch, especially when they can grow up to 12 feet long and weigh 600 pounds. However, as a result of their popularity, some experts think their numbers have been dwindling over the past few decades. Fortunately, after Dan and Ross caught their porbeagle, they released it. Number 14. 55-pound pike. Peter Filipov is believed to now hold the world record for the largest pike, and all he used was a fishing rod. He landed the huge pike and knew it was something special. That was confirmed when he weighed and measured it. It was 55.77 pounds and measured 55.11 inches long. Peter had been fishing since he was 4 years old and typically goes out every day after work for at least 2 hours. Over the years, he has worked out what attracts the fish the most and gets to know different river dynamics to land the best catch. When it came to catching the monstrous pike, he drew on his years of experience. Peter had been fishing at one of his favorite lakes and was used to observing the changes in them over time. With one lake in particular, something had changed. It seemed like all the fish had disappeared, and other anglers said they were having bad results even when using live bait. Big carp were spawning, but there were next to no small fish. Poaching also wasn't a problem, so Peter was determined to understand what he was missing. He started to wonder whether a serious predator in the lake was to blame for the lack of small fish, maybe a giant pike. He began fishing with big lures in deep holes he hadn't explored before, and that was the answer. Before long, something latched onto his line, and within 10 minutes, he had won the fight against a 55-pound pike. Number 13. 14-foot-long hammerhead shark. Most hammerhead sharks measure around 11 feet long and mind their own business in the ocean. However, one day in April 2019, a fisherman learned firsthand that hammerhead sharks can be much larger than 11 feet. World-renowned golfer Greg Norman, who has impressive fishing skills, put them to good use while fishing on his 41-foot boat off the coast of Florida. Joshua Jorgensen from Palm Beach County recorded the entire excursion for the online Black-to-Page fishing show. At first, Greg had hooked a blacktip shark, which would have been a decent enough catch. However, something else had that shark in its sights, another shark. Before long, a huge hammerhead shark entered the scene and swallowed the 80-pound blacktip shark. Greg knew he was about to have a fight on his hands, so he strapped into his fishing harness and got to work bringing it in. Greg wanted to wear the shark down quickly to give it a quicker release, so he let the shark tire itself out by towing the boat before chasing it down. He then spent an hour reeling it in. Once aboard, the hammerhead shark measured 14 feet 7 3/8 inches, and Greg estimated it would have weighed at least 1,200 pounds since it had been feasting on blacktip sharks. After spending up to 40 minutes reviving the shark, he released it back into the water. Number 12. 222-pound Atlantic halibut. When Eric Axner was fishing with a few of his friends off the coast of Norway, he probably expected to catch a pretty big fish. After all, he was using 40-pound coalfish bait. However, he likely didn't expect to catch a fish weighing more than the average person and much taller than them, too. Before long, Eric had caught a 7-foot-long halibut weighing 222 pounds. He had to use every ounce of strength to finally reel it in and officially call it his catch. The fight lasted nearly an hour, with the massive halibut repeatedly diving to the ocean floor in an attempt to escape. Eric's hands were cramping, and his arms were trembling from the strain, but he refused to give up. When the fish finally surfaced, its sheer size left everyone on the boat speechless. But there was a slight issue. They only had a small boat, so there was no way Eric and his friends could haul it aboard. To ensure people knew he had caught this massive fish, Eric had to get into the water and take a photo with it. The icy waters of Norway didn't deter Eric as he smiled for the camera, showcasing his incredible catch. If they had taken the fish rather than released it, it could have sold for nearly $10,000 or been used to make about 250 fish burgers. Eric said his catch was an unbelievable experience. Although their Atlantic halibut isn't actually the largest ever caught, another small Norwegian boat hauled in a 513-pound one in 2013, breaking the previous world record by at least 100 pounds. Number 11. 31-pound roving coral grouper. In 2021, Hungarian angler Thomas Trexler was on vacation in Egypt and decided to head out on a guided fishing excursion on the Red Sea. He was using a jig in deep, open water, so catching at least one fish was expected. However, he didn't expect to catch a world record-breaking fish. Before long, Thomas had a powerful bite on his line, and the fish on the end was pulling with incredible force. The battle wasn't just about strength. Thomas had to rely on his technique to ensure the line didn't snap under the strain of the fish's relentless attempts to escape. His guide, Mamata, kept encouraging him to stay focused, knowing they might have stumbled upon a truly exceptional catch. Spectators on the boat cheered as the fish surfaced, revealing its vibrant colors and impressive size, sparking excitement among the crew. Thomas put up a fight for at least 15 minutes before the fish lost its strength, and Thomas was able to pull it aboard. It weighed 31 pounds and 7 ounces, and Thomas knew it was an impressive size. However, he didn't realize it was so impressive that it would break a world record. Fortunately for him, his guide, Mamata, knew that it likely would break the record, mainly because there hadn't been many roving coral groupers submitted to the International Game Fish Association in the past. Once Thomas measured the fish, he released it, and his record was pending. That wasn't even the end of his lucky streak. He went on to catch a 24-pound roving coral grouper the same day, which would have also broken the record if it weren't for his 31-pounder. Number 10. 294-pound Warsaw grouper. For 3 years, 2 Florida anglers had dreamed about landing a massive Warsaw grouper. It didn't seem like it would happen until, finally, in 2021, it did. Joshua Jorgensen from Black-to-Page Fishing said the fish floated to the surface, and they all started screaming. The anglers had previously undertaken a 100-mile offshore expedition in 2019 without any luck. They tried again in 2020 and caught one, but it broke the line. When they found the fish they were looking for, they didn't realize how hard it would be to bring it onto the boat. It took for grown men to lift it. The men had set out from Fort Myers on a 42-foot boat in search of the elusive Warsaw grouper and ran for 4 hours until they reached Pulley Ridge. There, they dropped their banded runnerfish 400 feet to the bottom, where it was quickly bitten. It took 10 minutes to bring the grouper up 150 feet from the bottom, and then 2 of them took turns reeling it in. Upon bringing it aboard, they wrestled the fish into the cooler and weighed it. It was 294 pounds, which meant it was more than 300 pounds when they caught it, since fish can lose 10% of their body weight before reaching the dock. It was also over 7 feet long. Number 9. 55-pound muskellunge. Minnesota angler Nolan Strangler was all smiles in 2021 when he was officially declared the breaker of a 64-year-old record for the largest muskie. He caught it in the ice-cold waters of Mille Lacs Lake, and it tipped the scales at 55 pounds 14.5 ounces. The previous record was a 54-pound muskie caught on Lake Winnebegoshish in 1957. Breaking the record was a great moment for Nolan, but it wasn't easy. It was so cold at their late-night fishing spot that they had to break the ice just to get their boat into deeper, more open water. Once they caught the fish after a long battle, they spent about an hour trying to revive it for its release, only to lose that fight. Knowing the fish had died, they decided to bring it ashore so it could be weighed on a certified scale and checked against the record. As we now know, it did break the record. Nolan had been trying to break a catch and release record, but his fish wasn't responsive during the release. However, he'll be pleased he at least caught the largest muskie. Number 8. 9.11-pound peacock bass. It was a good day for Felipe Prieto on October 13, 2021. Not only did he catch a desirable peacock bass, but his catch also landed him the state's fishing record with a weight of 9.11 pounds. The previous record had been set 28 years earlier for a 9.08-pound fish. Felipe caught the fish in Broward County, and it was just 3.5 pounds shy of the all-time world record for the same fish. His incredible catch sparked a surge of interest in peacock bass fishing across Florida, with many anglers hoping to break his record. Peacock bass are predatory fish from South America's Amazon River basin. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission introduced the species to Miami's waterways to control the exploding tilapia population. The decision to introduce them wasn't without controversy, as some environmentalists worried about the potential impact on native species. However, studies showed that the bass thrived without significantly disrupting local ecosystem. To this day, peacock bass remain the only non-native fish species to be legally introduced to the state. According to studies, they definitely solved the tilapia overpopulation problem, but they also provided another benefit. Peacock bass became such a popular game fish that they contributed $6.6 million to the sport fishing economy. Many anglers from across the country travel to the area for a chance to catch one. Number 7. 1,000-pound-plus blue marlins. It's very uncommon for anyone to catch a blue marlin weighing more than 500 pounds. It's even more uncommon to catch one weighing more than 1,000 pounds. However, you're more likely to see blue marlins reaching those weights if you're part of the Blue Marlin World Cup. This worldwide fishing tournament happens annually on July 4th. Anglers from all around the world pay a $5,000 entry fee to enter their boats and head out on the water to find the winning blue marlin. Teams often spend months preparing for the event, studying migration patterns and investing in specialized gear. The tournament isn't just about the prize money. It's also a celebration of skill and endurance, attracting the best anglers in the world. There's a minimum qualifying weight of 500 pounds, but if you have the heaviest fish, you're in the running to win 80% of all tournament fees. That can be over $600,000 or possibly as much as $1 million. In 2021, the lucky winner was a team from Portugal called Team Number 1. They beat 121 other teams on their 43-foot Riviera, called Blue Hunter, to catch a massive 1,053-pound blue marlin in Cape Verde, around 372 miles from Senegal, West Africa. As large as that marlin was, it wasn't the largest ever caught. That title belongs to Don Hunt, who caught a 1,195-pound marlin in Bermuda in 1993. Number 6. 164-pound paddlefish. Jeremiah Method is a keen fisherman who loves leading guided fishing tours on Oklahoma's Keystone Lake when he's not busy working as a firefighter. While he has caught countless unmemorable fish, he has also caught plenty of memorable ones, including 3 paddlefish with world record weights. In mid-2021, Jeremiah helped 18-year-old Grant Radar catch a huge 164-pound paddlefish, which broke a record. The duo's excitement was palpable as they carefully hoisted the massive fish for photos, making sure not to stress it unnecessarily. Jeremiah noted the incredible strength of the fish during the catch, commenting that it took nearly 30 minutes to reel in. This achievement drew the attention of local media and fishing enthusiasts, shining a spotlight on the unique paddlefish population in Keystone Lake. He also caught 2 unofficial record holders, one being on Valentine's Day in 2020. He recognized the markings on that fish as the same as the one he helped Grant catch, so he believes it was the same fish with a little extra weight gain during the year. The reason why Jeremiah's previous record fish wasn't counted was because Oklahoma regulations require fish to be released if caught on Mondays and Fridays. When he caught one on February 14th, a Friday, it weighed 157 pounds before being released. This time, they took care of the fish, making sure it remained healthy and in the water while they waited for the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Fisheries biologists to weigh it with a certified scale. Once the weight was recorded and certified, they released the fish back into the water. Number 5. 27-pound lobster. Most lobsters we eat are between 1 and 2 pounds. You might occasionally see a monster one at a pound or two larger, but there are actually much larger ones in the ocean. We know that because fisherman Robert Malone caught one weighing 27 pounds and measuring nearly 40 inches long. Robert had been fishing in the Rockland area off the Maine coast when he caught the massive lobster in his fishing net. The sheer size of the lobster baffled scientists, who estimated it to be at least 80 years old, based on its size and shell condition. Such large lobsters are extremely rare due to overfishing and natural predation, making Rocky a truly remarkable find. Its massive claws were powerful enough to crush shells with ease, a testament to its longevity and strength. Rather than take it home to eat, he gave it to the Department of Marine Resources. They placed it in their Boothbay Harbor Aquarium. According to the Maine State Aquarium Director, Amy Hayden Rodriguez, they named the lobster Rocky because of where it was found in the Rockland area. However, it also could have suited the name Rocky the Boxer due to its huge claws. The massive lobster was the largest ever brought into the aquarium, beating the previous title holder by about 4 pounds. After spending some time at the aquarium, it was released back into the water. After all, we don't have to keep everything we take from the ocean. Number 4. 200-pound arapaima. The arapaima is a large fish from the Amazon River basin. They can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh 440 pounds. Jeremy Wade, from the TV series Jungle Hooks, used local fishing techniques to catch a 200-pound specimen, but it certainly wasn't an easy process. Not only did he encounter many frustrations leading up to the catch, but he also survived a near-death experience in a plane crash. Eventually, an arapaima rammed him in the chest, and he was able to catch a fully grown female in a nearby swamp. Arapaimas are known for their incredible strength and speed, making them formidable opponents for even experienced fishermen. Their ability to leap out of the water to escape predators or obstacles adds another layer of challenge when trying to catch one. They're also air-breathing fish, needing to surface periodically, which gives fishermen brief moments to spot them. That wasn't the only catch he made. He also appeared in a River Monsters episode and caught one on that TV show too. During the episode, he traveled up the Essequibo River in Guyana, visited a remote lake, and caught another large one. Throughout the show, Jeremy discussed how locals believed arapaimas were involved in the strange behaviors piranhas in Bolivia were displaying. While we're often told that arapaimas can grow up to 15 feet long while still weighing 440 pounds, Jeremy doesn't think these reports are accurate. He said a 15-foot-long arapaima would likely weigh about 2,000 pounds, which doesn't seem possible. Number 3. 1,653-pound manta ray. Subhash Sailan had gone deep-sea fishing off Mangaluru, near Malp Port, when he certainly caught more than he anticipated. A giant 1,653-pound manta ray followed by a smaller 551-pound manta ray. They were so large that, once he returned to shore, he had to organize a crane to bring them in and load them onto a pickup truck. The former president of the Fishermen's Association in Karnataka, Yathish Baikampedi, said such catches aren't common but aren't rare either. Manta ray sizes can vary, but they are caught quite regularly. However, because this happened in Malp rather than a remote area, there was a large crowd to witness it, and the event went viral on social media. The sight of such massive marine creatures being hauled ashore drew mixed reactions, with some admiring the sheer size of the rays, while others lamented their fate. Conservationists pointed out that manta rays are vital for maintaining healthy ocean ecosystems, as they help control plankton populations. Furthermore, they are known for their gentle and harmless nature, making them favorites among divers and marine enthusiasts. It was believed the manta rays would be exported and fetch a reasonable price. However, not everyone was pleased about the catch, and for good reason. According to NOAA Fisheries, the U.S. federal agency responsible for national marine resources, the giant manta is endangered. In more hopeful news, researchers recently discovered a huge group of mantas off the coast of Ecuador, numbering around 22,000. This gives us hope that not all species are under immediate threat. Number 2. 600 to 700-pound Goliath grouper. When a fisherman from Blacktopage set off from a dock in Florida, they had one mission: to catch and release a grouper that weighed more than their boat. The boat itself weighed 550 pounds, making it a challenging mission. They started by fishing for bonito but were about to catch something much, much larger. A monster Goliath grouper was trying to eat their snook, so they used a live bonito as bait to try and catch it. Once the fish ate all the bait, it used its heft to start towing their boat. The sheer strength of the fish left the anglers struggling to maintain control, forcing them to use every ounce of skill and muscle to prevent being capsized. At one point, the grouper's massive tail could be seen breaking the water's surface, a testament to its size and power. Witnesses on nearby boats stopped to watch in awe, capturing videos of the epic struggle. They believed the grouper weighed between 600 and 700 pounds. Sounds made up, but Goliath groupers are absolutely enormous fish. They are the largest bony fish species and can grow up to 8.2 feet long, while weighing up to 800 pounds. Despite their intimidating size, Goliath groupers are known for their docile nature and are protected by conservation laws in many areas. Number 1. 19-foot giant squid. Most fishermen won't catch a giant squid. These creatures prefer to live in the dark depths of the ocean, and scientists speculate their large size is due to a lack of predators at those depths. However, during certain times of the year, Japanese fishermen catch an unusual number of them, and some are even alive. In 2015, one such squid measured an incredible 19.02 feet. Giant squid have been known to grow up to 43 feet long. This particular specimen was caught in the Toyama Prefecture of Japan, one of 4 already caught in nets that same year. Interestingly, researchers believe the increase in sightings could be linked to disruptions in their natural habitat, such as underwater volcanic activity or changing ocean currents. According to local fishermen, it seems the giant squid are coming closer to the surface, putting them in the direct path of their shrimp nets, which drag at around 984 feet. In some cases, these squid have been observed behaving erratically, possibly due to stress or injury, making them more susceptible to being caught. This is quite shallow, considering most giant squid prefer depths between 1,968 feet and 5,905 feet. Some Japanese fishermen see the presence of giant squid as an omen, but there might be a more innocent explanation. Where they usually live, water temperatures are around 42 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. During colder times of the year, the squid may be seeking out warmer waters. They can also survive at depths as shallow as 656 feet if necessary. Despite their fearsome reputation, encounters with live giant squid provide scientists with invaluable opportunities to study these elusive creatures up close. Fishing is a fun pastime, and catching something weighing a few pounds to feed your family can be exciting. But imagine reeling in a catch weighing hundreds of pounds. Do you prefer catch and release or catch and keep? Let us know your reasons in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the other cool videos showing up on the screen now. This is Jake the Voice Pass signing off. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.